Carrie Parcell is joining us too. Okay. It's 11 o'clock, so we'll get started. I'll keep an eye on the waiting room in case we have other people coming. Well, welcome everybody. Thanks for being here today. And I think we all know each other, so we need to do our introductions. I guess the members of the recycling committee will just Lydia Vivante, Christine Shreves, Nancy Najmi, Chris Wisniewski, Jair Carlson, and I think and Christine Shreves, of course. I think that covered everybody. Carrie Parcell is here from the Mass DEP, and Carol Maganoff from Energy and Climate Action Committee, and Tom Sigia from the Shellfish Advisory Board. Carrie Parcell, Mass DEP, Barnstable County Municipal Assistance Coordinator. So on the first thing we have on our agenda is a transfer station update. I got an email from Mike Sakali this morning, and he's offsite and couldn't join us. The updates that he has, the main one is the June 1st pay-as-you-throw is going to be off pause as of June 1st. So I expect they'll probably have some signage up about that. And get ready. I guess everyone have careful bags ready to go. It's been a while. It feels like more than a year. And I think that was really the main update from Mike. And Carrie, do you have some notes on the Mass DEP grants coming up?
Nothing as of right now. I mean, normally we open them up mid-April, but because they were sort of pushed back like everything else has been, there's no new information on when they're going to go ahead and open them up again for the year 2021.
Okay. Cape Cod Commission waste diversion contract. There was a focus group the other day and a survey that I had completed, and it was an interesting discussion. They separated people into two working groups and covered things such as food scraps, food waste diversion, hard to recycle items. Processed glass aggregate was discussed. One person spoke very strongly about trying to refill bottles in the future rather than just have them go into processed glass aggregate, which is a solution, but maybe it's not ideal to produce a lot of glass just to have it eventually turned into a gravel or material. So that was interesting to hear. Carrie, I think, were you at that webinar as well?
Was I where?
Were you at the focus group?
Yeah, I'm part of that waste study. So I've been working on it for the last 2 years with the Cape Cod Commission. So
yeah, I just didn't see you at the meeting, so I wasn't sure if you.
Oh no, I was in one of the breakout rooms. I was a note taker. So
right.
But yeah, I mean, it was. I feel like there could have been about a half hour more discussion. We gleaned some information from the surveys that we sent out, asking. So what we kind of did was we looked at sort of the recycling community as a whole. So the solid waste and recycling committees that are active throughout the communities, as well as, folks like Chris from the Sierra Club that, works on recycling initiatives. Paul Hebert that used to operate the Redemption Center in the town of Yarmouth with the Cape Cod Collaborative. So we really wanted to kind of target, the groups that focus on this, whether they're volunteers or, it was a good discussion. We're waiting for the draft report on what was said during that meeting, the notes that were taken during that meeting. I sent all of my notes from just the entire meeting plus my breakout room. Michelle's adding hers, and then it's going to go into the draft that will be shared. I think there's some question on whether or not a second conversation might be relevant, where before we were looking for sort of just one catch-all from folks. And now we're sort of wondering if maybe a little bit later on in the study, once we have more information or confirmed information about the data sets that we're gathering, speaking to the groups again in some sort of, setup. So.
Yeah, I remember now that, right, you had presented your notes from your breakout session, right? Okay, so that'll be interesting to keep an eye on. And so it's important that the Cape Cod Commission is working on this. They have they're a premier planning agency for the Cape Cod.
The feasibility study is to conclude November of this year. It sort of was a springboard from our former commissioner giving me a phone call regarding capacity and cost of the disposal of solid waste and recyclables. And when I say disposal of recyclables, I don't mean disposing them in the trash. I mean sending them to the vendors that would process them for market. So that was last August. And so we really sort of worked on that scope of work, and then we set it up to where that scope of work was presented to the commissioners and the Assembly of Delegates. We received funds from the county to hire vendors to do this professional study. The contracts were signed in November of last year, 2020. And so it's about a year-long feasibility study. And of course we wanted to include, folks like you in the comments, because it's valuable information to get it as it's perceived from other folks, especially those who are, who freely volunteer their time to work on these sorts of issues. So,
well, thank you. That was
yeah.
Just one other announcement for the Cape Cod Hazardous Waste Days. Household Hazardous Waste Days are coming up, and this is the Wellfleet one is June 5th, so a month from tomorrow. And these brochures are around. They're also information on the town website. And I think that Chris has, do you have an Instagram post on this already?
I did one before that might have included this date, but I should do it again since it's coming up for Wellfleet.
Pesticides and lawn chemicals, cleaners and disinfectants, arts and crafts, hobby supplies, auto and boat fluids, pool chemicals, paints, polishes, and stains. Actually, that's another thing that Mike brought up is the boat wrap is recycling or collection is happening at the transfer station now.
And I did a post about that one.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you.
Lydia, did you say that the brochure or some kind of graphic is on the town website as well?
I think it's on there. I used to put it on the Wellfleet Recycles page, and I can do that as well.
Okay, if you could
I'm
just
looking, we have a place to load it, but we still have the 2020 there on the town website.
Okay.
And there's some other corrections there, so I can contact.
Yeah, and it should also, I think this is a Cape Cod Cooperative Extension Program. So if you go to capecodextension.org, you'll find the information there.
Yeah, the PDF is available.
Yeah.
I can forward it to you, Chris, since I'll be downloading it to send to Rebecca.
Okay,
also.
I appreciate that. Thanks. Okay.
And I put some of these over at the Cape Cod 5 Bank, at the AIM Thrift Shop, and at the liquor store. So there's, we used to put them at the library and all kinds of places, but there are these brochures out and about if you need one. The other collection days are happening. It's a Outer Cape thing, so Wellfleet, Truro, and Provincetown. If you don't make the June 7th, you can go to Truro if you don't make the June 5th one in Wellfleet, you do the August 7th in Truro or October 2 in Provincetown. Oh, there's Jane. Let me admit her.
And does anybody know, is there going to be an Amnesty Day this year?
There is not.
Oh, I need one of those.
However, that could lead us to the next thing that's on our agenda. So welcome, Jane. Share. She's muted, I guess. Oh, she's connecting to audio. This leads us.
So Nancy, you have a phone. Do you have a phone connected also? You appeared twice in the.
Oh, that's really funny. No, you know what? I probably logged in twice. I logged in an hour ago. I thought it was 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Well, we can hear you and see you very well, so that's good.
Yeah.
All right, I'm busy. I'm taking the notes. So
Yeah.
Thank
I'm
you.
not-
Thank you
I'm
so
not
much.
watching, I'm sort of watching my paper, so.
That's
I will
not a
try to get
problem. We'll just ignore the other Nancy.
Okay. She's a loudmouth anyway.
And the meeting's being recorded, as everybody knows. So. Tom, would you like to make any announcements? I know that you have a special granddaughter's birthday today, so I don't know if you can stay for the whole meeting or if you want to.
No. Yeah, my granddaughter turned 1 today, so thank you for that note this morning, Lydia.
Sure.
Congratulations, Grandpa.
Yeah, thanks. We really have nothing. We really waiting on Carrie and hopefully her committee to put out that grant again. So the one thing I can say is that we did get a lot of input from some of the shell fishermen that they did want to participate when we did get the if we did get the grant, and of course those bungee cords versus the plastic ties. So if anything, it was awareness that went through the community,
Right.
which was nice to see.
Good. And remind me, the Shellfish Advisory Board meets once a month, is it?
Well, we're meeting again tomorrow. We've met 3 times now in the last 6 weeks
Wow.
on a ton of issues. The housing one is probably the biggest thing on our agenda right now. We're spending a lot of time. We're seeing a lot of our shell fishermen get pushed out of their rentals. With COVID and everything, the people are taking advantage now of the increased rents they get in the summer. So what we have done is the select board, I think, met and approved it, but we asked to change the whole domicile of our rules and regulations. If you're domiciled in Wellfleet, you can get a shellfishing commercial permit. But once you move out, that permit is void. And we have all kinds of ways to check on that. But one thing that we really noticed, so you lose your housing and then you lose your job. It's kind of a difficult time for you. So what we did is we moved the 30-day window of domicile to 18 months, which will hopefully help individuals to find a realtor and get back into Wellfleet to continue their commercial license and permit and be able to shellfish in our harbor. So that's the big thing on our agenda.
Sure.
But it's opened up a lot of other conversations about the whole housing market here in Wellfleet, which I think we're all aware of.
Thank you. Thank you for that important work.
Yeah, you're welcome. So there's no easy fix.
No. Okay, we'll go on to number 2, which is Free Wellfleet. It's a town-wide free stuff event scheduled for May 15th. And the idea is that because the swap shops all over Massachusetts are closed, people have a lot of stored up stuff, and this would be an outlet. The good thing about it is that it happens in your driveway. It doesn't happen anywhere else. It doesn't happen at the swap shop or at the dump. It happens in your driveway. So you can register at wellfleetrecycles.org. And I wanted to show you that that the form is on our website, and with your permission, we can have it go live. So Andrea Pluhar, former recycling committee member, Nancy Vale, and Roland Blair, the swap shop coordinator, have been working on this. So a small group of volunteers just trying to get this up and running. And I thought I would share the screen and show you what it looks like. If I can, let's see here.
So Andrea put in May 15 and 16.
Right. That was, go to it now. Can you see what I'm seeing now?
Yes,
The
Yep, we
Wellfleet,
can.
our
yes.
website? Okay, good. That's a relief. Part one, and then we press this button. My connection's unstable, okay. And this is the page that Andrea created. Saturday and Sunday, May 15 and 16 from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Now, this is of course weather dependent, so we're hoping that it's not going to pour rain on those days, but we'll take it as it comes. So townwide day to put out your freebies in your driveway, and you can sign up. Well, the rules of the road, it's contactless, it's socially distanced. Please follow mask guidance regarding masks, and one person at a time, or one group at a time. Please respect host parking notes. Here's the sign up page. And what you do is you can choose your name, to share your name or a nickname. And sorry, it's a little slow. I wonder if it's because, there we go. So you would add your name here, the days that you'd like to participate, your street address, and whether the GPS works for your address or not, and a short description of your items. So like Roland put up that he's got a gas stove and some fishing rods. And then there's a place for you to put your parking advice. So that's how that works.
And then there's a really cool map that shows each person, like it's a private Google map, like we've talked about for refill stations, that shows the location of each person that's added themselves or registered.
Wonderful idea.
Yeah, sorry, my internet. Yeah, so I wanted to make sure it's okay with you that we're hosting this on the site, on our website, our wellfleetrecycles.org site.
Do we need to vote on it, Lydia, or just?
Oh, I think is there general consensus or any, might as well vote. I'll move that we host it on the site.
Yeah, I would second that. It's a great idea.
Thanks. My internet's kind of slow. I guess it's not working. I'm gonna.
Yeah, if you stop sharing, yeah, it'll be better.
Yeah. So you can go to that site yourself and see what it looks like, wellfleetrecycles.org, and then you just click the free Wellfleet tab. And
maybe I can pick Andrea's brain about updates to our website so that we could show all of the things. Right now there's a more to when you run out of titles, but maybe
I can fix that. Actually, it's really easy. You just rearrange it. Now, so there's a second. Now let's vote. Lydia, aye.
Aye.
Everyone's up there. Okay, great.
Are you there, Jane?
Jane's on mute.
She is, yes.
Yeah. Ask to unmute.
She may not.
There she is.
Is that better?
Yep, that's better.
Yeah, we can hear you.
How do I get my picture on? I don't care particularly, but it's just my iPad. I was on a Zoom yesterday, and there was my picture, but it isn't here for you guys. So
look at the toolbar. See if you move your cursor or move your finger on your iPad. See if the toolbar comes up, and there should be a thing on the left that says either stop or start video.
there it is.
Hey, there she is.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I'd have had my hair cut if I'd realized I was going to show.
Your hair looks fine. Okay, looks like Carrie has to exit or make a quick call, so she's stepped away. So yes, I hope that you'll participate. Everybody's probably got stuff, to put out, and hopefully we'll have good weather. And
when Carrie comes back, I wanted to talk to her about whether maybe she could talk with other DPW heads on a shared policy and opening date for swap shops? Because our
Mhm.
TPW says, well, nobody else is opened. So if they all say
Ah,
that, we'll
I
never open.
see.
Statewide, I think.
Mm.
There are no regulations that say they can't be open.
Yeah, I think.
And Amy has said that Truro has stayed open.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Weird. I thought everyone was closed. I don't think people.
I
were-
thought you said that.
I don't
I
think
may be
so. I
wrong.
think everything on the Cape and actually statewide is not open, from what I understood from Carrie. But Amy, yeah, one,
Yeah, I could have misremembered.
the governor's advice right now is, I think August 1st would be a time when there could be a full reopening, but that might change depending on the vaccination rate.
And are you talking about a full reopening in general or something specific? I mean, there's nothing specific to swap shops. I mean, stores
think
are open,
full-
AIM is
I think-
open. Yeah.
Well, right now you're supposed to wear a mask indoors. There's certain restrictions
Right.
indoors. So I think that's what I'm talking about is.
Right. But
and
if
those
we,
would-
like Roland's plan where we observe all of those things. Now, how about AIM? You just are following guidelines for,
We have,
retail?
I think, 6 to 8 people in the store at a time. And we have windows that are open. We
okay,
made a big effort to, Tom handled this. Tom is also a volunteer at AIM and
oh, okay.
got screen, replaced the windows with, and got nice big screens so we can
Oh,
have a lot
good.
of
Oh.
Can
ventilation.
you come to my house, Tom?
Anyway, yeah, that's probably for the next month that can
Okay,
get more done on the swap shop. But for now, we're just going to do this townwide event where
right.
it's in your driveway. Number 3, the commercial water bottle ban, outreach plan, decal maps and apps. So Christine, you want to take it away?
Yeah, so at our last meeting, we decided to use the Refill app, which is with the organization called City to Sea in the UK. It has the same features as the one that Sustainable Practices was promoting when we did the municipal ban, but that app called TAP is not currently available in the app stores. And the person who started the app said there's no timeline for making it available. So I'm not sure what the deal is. But we talked to Chris about designing a decal at some point, but that will probably be more in May. So we're kind of putting the app maybe on the back burner for the initial outreach to businesses, mentioning it, but waiting with the mapping of things in the app. What we can go ahead with though is the private Google map, which is just a PDF that shows the location of water refill stations in the Outer Cape towns. We can have lots of different maps for, Wellfleet downtown, South Wellfleet, as many as you want. So that's an easy thing to do, and we'll start with that. Carrie, something I wanted to ask you about was I don't know if you have heard much about what other towns are doing in terms of preparation for the plastic bottle ban going into effect. So Jill's organization, Care for the Cape and Islands, had a really good summit with Brewster, who a year ago started doing just a promotion campaign specifically for Brewster tap water I think it's called Drink Brewster Tap or something like that. And one of the select board members, Mary Chafee, talked at made a presentation about what they'd been doing. So they, designed a campaign and had PSAs, had things on their website, Instagram, etc., just to get people familiar with the change in behavior that is coming. I don't know if they probably don't want to share their materials with other towns since they probably paid for it, but it would be nice to find some way to get all the 7 towns that have approved the ban together. Right now, we're just meeting with Eastham and Sherry and P-Town, the DPW.
And Amy.
And Amy and Amy Wolf in Truro, who hasn't passed it yet, but she's looking forward to that happening. And Orleans, we have the person involved who's not attending the meetings, but he's open to, being contacted when we have something specific that we need of him, like putting his towns. He was Rick Francolini.
Rick Francolini, yep.
Yeah, so he's the one that applied for community, was it cultural or community development funds?
Community preservation.
Community development.
Preservation funds, I think it was, community preservation. Anyway, so he got a $50,000 grant to put 5 really nice pedestal type refill stations at, ball fields and playgrounds and things in Orleans, which are currently being installed. But he's moved on to other things. So anyway, so what we have decided to move ahead with the framework of, before the season really gets going, maybe by the first part of June, is our health agent is making up a template letter that maybe other towns we can share with other towns to send out to local businesses explaining the ban and what the new regulations, when it's going into effect. And then we want to follow up with a flyer by email or by some means, which has explanations about the behavior changes, what businesses can do, the fact that they can offer refills, and that we have this app that's coming and the decal and that kind of thing. Other things that we are on the horizon is to get together sort of some bulk pricing samples for both replacement products like canned water and glass bottles, as well as branded products that businesses can sell instead of water, like branded stainless steel reusable bottles, that kind of thing. And also ideas for how they can offer water, like in a shop, using either the big stainless steel cooler that we have or some other ones that we've seen. So, that's about it for now. We had sort of this idea of having a kit available where we could maybe have some samples of different products to give businesses that they might want to sell. I don't know if we'll get to that or not, but at least offer pricing and suggestions.
We talked about a virtual kit and maybe inviting the Nauset Green Club students to create it.
Mm-hmm.
They'd be, if they're interested.
Right.
That way.
And Lydia suggested we involve the Nauset Green Club. Is that what you just said? No, the Nauset Green Club to maybe do a PSA or something that to promote
A virtual kit,
behavior.
like to show off a virtual kit. A
I'm sorry, I
virtual
didn't hear you.
kit. Sorry, I keep talking over each other.
Are you wanting me to help connect you with the 7 other municipalities so that you can kind of do sort of a planning so that sort of the launch and release and the timing of the ban sort of looks the same for those communities, like to kind of create, like you said, Brewster already kind of has been working on this with Brewster Tap.
Right.
I would be hard pressed to think they wouldn't want to share that information, because otherwise why be part of the information session on it.
Yeah.
But I can certainly work with you and the committee to get the list of contacts together that you might want to, and then maybe help you set up a meeting forum or something.
If you could get get us the other contacts for either the recycling committee or in the case of P-Town, we did invite the recycling committee, but they referred us on to Sherry. So she's been great. Sherry Prada at DPW has been attending and giving us information.
Yeah, I can certainly do that. Just let me know kind of what you're looking for, and then I can take my contact list and send them your way based on what would be helpful to you.
Okay.
And then Tom, speaking of care, that it was Care for Cape and the Islands. They put the information session together. It was like a 2-part summit about, what the bans are and what it means, and then sort of like how communities are getting the word out, whether you're a resort or whether you're a municipality, etc. So they had a couple different presenters on that. But I am on the board of directors for the Care for Cape and the Islands. It's separate than I do, my work here. But they do annual grant programs. So I did send you a link And that might be while waiting for DEP to make some announcements on their grant openings. There's a grant through CARE that you might want to check out that's available through May 31st. So I sent
Okay,
you
thank
an
you.
email link to that.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're very welcome. But yeah, just let me know what you need, Christine,
Okay.
as far as like what kind of information you want to gather or glean. And then what I'll do is I'll put together a contact list for you based on who I know has that information or who could be
Okay.
helpful to the,
Okay.
Yeah.
We're meeting our Outer Cape outreach working group is meeting tomorrow. So after that,
yeah, just let me know and I'll
yeah, I mean, we
Right.
thought it would be really nice if materials had a common look. And
right.
so I was thinking of Care for the Cape and Islands, if they might be interested in sort of being an umbrella organizing thing, but I don't know.
Yeah, we can, I can reach out to Jill as part of that contact list. Just let me know kind of who you're
Okay.
thinking, what you're thinking, and then I can throw the contacts at you and you can kind of build it up from there.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right,
Yeah.
awesome.
Brewster
Christine?
worked with their water commission as well. So it
Mhm.
was a joint project.
And recycling committee, I believe.
Mm.
It's the three of them.
Christine, when we spoke about the decal, you gave me a few different phrases that could be used on it. Would it be possible to have like the final phrase that your group tomorrow would be interested in, so that I don't design something with one phrase and then you change it?
We're really open to your input too, Chris, if something that makes sense. I mean, it'd be great if we had something about the Cape and tap water, that
Mhm.
everybody used, but
Yeah.
who knows? I'm not a creative spirit, so.
The CARE group has that already for Drink Cape Cod Tap as part of their Take Care campaign.
Oh, that's right.
So I think because there's towns that have approved it, maybe something that a business might be more apt to put it on their window if it said a Wellfleet business,
Mhm.
I think, rather than say Cape Cod. I don't know.
Yeah, Brewster uses Drink Brewster Tap.
Right.
So
But how does that impact the decal?
I guess it would mean that there would be a design where people could put their own town name in it, potentially.
Town names are like
Very
for
different.
our words.
You're
Like,
absolutely
it's-
right.
it's- From a design perspective, different size words mean something. So yeah.
What do you think, Lydia? Does it mean we design one for Wellfleet and then share the?
I think we could do two, have a Wellfleet one. I think it'd be more appealing to businesses to have it say Wellfleet.
Probably.
But that's my thought on that. The Take
But
Care
we'll
campaign.
talk about it tomorrow, Chris, and
Okay.
let you know.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right. Speaking of water, we got a request from the town moderator for water at town meeting. So last year, they went with plastic water. And from what I remember, there was a lot left over. Just leaving town meeting, I noticed there were.
Tons left over.
Yeah,
remember.
yeah. So this year they asked us if we'd be responsible for getting water to town meeting for 250 people. And our thought was to send them information on the brand Open Water that sells water, packages water in aluminum cans and reusable screw top bottles. Well, that's a possibility. The other thing is that's going to be right at the school there, so they could have tanks of water, the Fusti, the stainless steel tank. Maybe get one or two more of those and provide chilled water, just filling it up from the tap in the school, and encourage people to, of course, bring their own. So
I think a lot of people did bring their own, but it would be good to have a refill option. And I mean, there's the Water Monster too, but.
Water Monster is really kind of involved, and I think like even for the road race, that a lot of water was drained out of it at the end.
It was.
So probably starting small might be better with the Fustis, the stainless steel tanks.
Yeah, and then being able to refill them.
Yeah, and you can.
Did you get any information back from Dan or
Not yet, no email back.
Chief
but,
Polly about the budget? Okay.
Yeah, we did ask how much money they have for this. It could just be, if we use the tanks, they can fill it with water, they can chill it in a freezer that can be really cold. Maybe the freezer at the Wellfleet Elementary School. So there's a little work to do there in terms of, recycling committee, we don't have a budget basically to buy anything because we don't know how much money we have because of all the accounting issues in town. So I wouldn't propose offering any money at this point.
Definitely not. We have to find our money first.
Yeah, look high and low. So
And I just want to make sure I told you, Lydia, that I'm not going to be here for town meeting, the original one, but once they rescheduled, I'm going to be out of town.
okay, yeah, it's going to be on the 26th with possible rain dates of 26, 27, 29. So that's that. Well, I think we're gonna suggest the open water and the stainless steel tanks unless anybody else has any thoughts, or maybe the water commission would be willing to help out. They might have an interest in this as well.
Or some money.
Yeah. So maybe get in touch with I think Jim Hood is still the chair there.
Right.
That's probably good idea. And next, Care for the Cape and Islands grant announcement. So Carrie mentioned it a few minutes ago, and the deadline's May 31st. So Care for the Cape and Islands, the website is careforthecapeandislands.org. And I recommend looking at that grant announcement. If Tom and Shellfish Advisory Board want to go for something, we can support you in any way that you need, using maybe some of the old grant language that we developed for the Mass DEP grant. But I guess let us know where that goes.
And Carrie, do you have any, there's things that, we'd love to have more money for refill stations or for the butlers or whatever they're called.
The butlers, yeah.
Yeah, because the bus stations around town and on Route 6 and stuff, wherever the P&B bus or Peter Pan stops, there's always a bunch of butts there, and it'd be nice to try to put some at bus stations or in town. Or, and I'm
Who
sure
would maintain those, because in Provincetown, the DPW picks,
they
maintains
empties them. Okay. Yeah.
So, we just need to think who would do that.
That's a good point.
And what do you call them? Butt stations?
Butlers. cigarette
Butlers?
Mhm.
Is that what they're called? They have them all around P-Town. That was a Care for the Cape and Islands grant that funded them.
It's a still kind of a long narrow box that's attached to a light pole or fence post.
But anyway, Carrie, I was just wondering if they're looking for, new innovative things or just,
We're always looking for new and innovative. That's just sort of the nature of the grant beast, is something that doesn't necessarily, it's kind of, it doesn't fit the bill to just be giving money to the same thing and the same type of projects over and over again. But, just like when DEP looks at the grants as board members of Care, when we look at these incoming applications, we look at what fits the criteria. We could make the decision that nothing came in that we were interested in and put make an extension to the grant, application period. But anything that can be, sort of new, especially if there's a template for other towns to follow or other organizations, because it's about, projects that are, that have a methodology of working, right? A methodology of working that you can kind of build off of, or even if you only get so much money to begin the program and get a launch going, and it's also about reaching as many people as possible. So, it's about the reach, and it's about, the methodology of it that other towns, could potentially follow. You want to look at the the measurables how is it working? Is the funds that are put into these types of, programs really working? What's sort of the cost benefit of doing it? And most of the time it has to do with like the number of folks reached.
Right. Okay.
So that's kind of the key criteria. So I would say take a peek at it.
Mhm. Great. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And if any of you have any specific questions about CARE, just let me know. We can talk offline. As far as me being a board member and then me working with CARE as a DEP, like a DEP Barnstable County person. So there's a little, but if you have specific questions to that, either you can reach out to Jill or myself.
Okay. And just for those of you who are new to the committee, Carrie encouraged us to apply for a Care for the Cape and Islands grant for the Bakerfield refill station. So that was the one and only we have currently. Still not open, but will be open for use this year, unlike last year.
That's the only outdoor one. There's a lot of indoor refill
Right.
stations,
Outdoor.
public buildings. Maybe something at the library would be a really good next step. But anyway, we
Yeah,
continue.
we had a sponsor for $500 who wanted that to go towards the library.
Good. So next we have summer 2021 recycling news flyer or bookmark, and then RC season calendar. So this was in one of the discussions with Sherry Pratt of Provincetown. They have a flyer that they put in all of the rental cottages and they share with the resort community there. One of the good things about it is it has things on there that maybe doesn't appear in the Recycle Smart flyer.
Did
So,
she send us an example of that, or it's online?
yeah, I have it on, I can get to it on the screen. Hold on, show you. It's Recycle Info. There's a PDF of it on their website. So it has water bottle filling stations. Can you all see this?
Yes.
Yes.
Hello? Okay.
Yes.
So it has town regulations. These are the plastic bans on the left. They have a little bit on how to recycle, the cigarette butler locations, the water bottle filling stations, and then basic transfer station hours and stuff. And of course they have curbside pickup in Provincetown, so it's a bit different.
Right.
It tells you what they don't accept and the basic recycling info. But it's something I think that we should do again if you're game. And I don't think it requires professional printing. I think printing some copies at the library, I think they'll do that for us. Maybe 25 or 50, something like that. Might be a good thing to do just to get some information out there. And sharing it with the realtors so they could maybe print it themselves and put it in the cottage rentals.
So how would we handle that since we don't have curbside pickup for the town?
It doesn't, well, we would be putting water bottle filling station information and any other kind of things that maybe don't appear on the Recycle Smart thing, like the compost information would be a really good thing to get out there. And I don't think it has to do with curbside or drop off.
Mm-hmm.
It's more just information for.
It would also be nice to include things like carry in, carry out for the ponds, and having the town regulations for things related to waste diversion and stuff would be pretty cool.
Okay. We can put the Instagram address on there, the wellfleetrecycles.org. Information about shellfish and how that recycling program worked.
Right. I wonder, Lydia, if we should, like send this to Mike and see what he thinks, or to, the DPW director, to see how they would feel about us doing something that's sort of official for the town, or whether the DPW would like to do something like this, or?
I wonder, what about you trying to see if some of the other more environmentally based groups like Conservation Commission or Water Commission would want to get involved? I mean, trying to think of it more as a green brochure rather than,
Right.
you know, the information that's already out there. Sorry, let me stop
That's a good
scrolling up
point.
and down. Let's stop the share.
Yeah, that's a really nice idea, is have, calling it just sort of a Wellfleet green guide or something, and having
Mhm.
different committees and things. That's also like, one thing Leon says on the Cape Cod Commission is that residents are always saying, oh, we didn't know that about the regulations to go through the commission for particular things. And Historical Commission, I'm sure it's a similar kind of thing. But anything that is related to preserving the environmental appeal of the town.
Mhm. Maybe it's worth starting a draft and getting that around, and you know, maybe with a goal of trying to get it out by July 4th or something.
Yeah, I'm not available to work on that at all in that time frame, because I won't be available.
Well, I could start something that's modeled on Provincetown, or looking at some of the other ones that are around there, and just see where that goes. I think the bookmark, we still have some of those bookmarks from before.
I think that when we were still meeting in person, the ones that I had left, I divvied up to people to put out at the COA and Visitor Center, chamber.
Those are all gone.
So they're all gone. Yeah.
Okay.
We do have lots of recycle smart cards, though.
Well, let's get those out there. Do we have enough to give to realtors or to get out into some cottage colonies?
I think we do. I think you did a pretty big order, the Vista print order.
So are those that at your place, or?
Yes, I have them.
Okay.
So yes, you're right. We should get them out.
What are those things we're getting out?
The Recycle Smart recycling guide for Wellfleet.
Oh, yes, yep.
So it's basically Chris adapted the one from Mass Dep to Wellfleet.
Yes.
And I have all of those in my basement.
Okay.
Waiting to be distributed. I mean, we distributed, what was it, 2019 we did them, Chris? Do you remember, a couple of years ago?
I think so. Yeah, it must have
I
been.
think it was 2019.
Yeah.
Well, I remember at that care meeting, there was the gentleman, I think from Orleans, who rents his apartment out, or East End, and how he provided a packet. But I'm going to guess a lot of places basically use a disposal company. And in that case, do we know anything about what kind of information they provide their customers? Because I'm going to think there's a lot of people who are just saying, oh, it's all done by them.
That was my question too, because I actually have a cottage in a cottage community with pickup service, and I don't even know what their regulations are.
Well, Nauset is, Carrie has worked with the Nauset outreach person, Nauset disposal outreach person, and they sponsored one of the Marina refill station that hopefully will be installed very soon. And I can't remember her name right now, but
Cara Brule.
is it Carrie?
Cara, K-A-R-A Brule.
Right,
Yep.
right, yep. And so if you have Nauset, you can definitely, they have, I think they use the Recycle Smart card, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
They do, Carrie? Yeah, so they have a Recycle Smart.
Yeah, they do. They just, just like anybody else, like a town, they put their name on it, but it's
Right.
all the DEP's Recycle Smart information.
Right, okay. I have no idea about Fraser or any others.
Okay.
They might have it on their website as a PDF.
Yeah,
Because
whenever
then-
I've asked questions about it, I've not gotten a lot of information. So I'm not sure, but that was a year or two ago. So
Christine, would it be possible for me to get like 10 of those Recycle Smart cards myself?
Absolutely, as many as you like. I can put them in your mailbox.
Okay, that would be great.
And maybe if, if other people want to put them out around town, that would be very helpful.
Yeah, you could just give me a little pile and I'll take some and put some out.
Okay,
Okay.
sure.
Mhm.
And, for the part of the, I mean, it'd be great. It's a great idea to have things available for realtors and for homeowners to give, to have materials. And that's where that green brochure you talked about would be great, Lydia, and the recycle smart cards. So maybe we should bring them around to, but then again, as you mentioned, most rentals have a disposal company.
Yeah, the
So.
Chamber of Commerce, I'm not sure if they're gonna have their little building open this season, maybe.
Right.
But it's maybe also just at the dump itself in the recycling plaza, because that's a good place to.
Yeah, we would make sure that they, when we had them available, we'd make sure that they had them available, but it's all
Yeah.
contactless now, so, but I can
Maybe
check.
I could have one of those lucite boxes that you can, that's waterproof, so people could pick the flyer out.
Right,
Um,
I'm sure they
or-
could figure out a way.
Yeah, or the person that's stationed there that helps out the part-time staff, maybe they would be willing to hand it out.
Yeah.
What
If
about the
anybody-
post office? What about the post office? Do they take these things like that?
They'll take a poster, but they don't take a stack of things. They
I
have
see.
an
I see.
area where you're supposed to post
But
things.
if anybody is interested in, having the stash and.
I think I
appreciate
could use a stash, actually. I'm just
Okay.
thinking of my exercise class, and yeah,
Right.
I could use a stash.
it. Okay,
Yeah.
and
Do you
then
want to just put them in my mailbox on the street there?
I can do that,
Yeah, that'd be great.
and I can do that
Some too.
for you too, Chris. Nancy, you too?
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't have a
And
map.
then, doesn't Lima have a kind of place too for public notices?
Yeah, they do. Well,
But bus
like kind of
timetables and
their windows, they took down all the posters, but the Cape Cod 5 Bank, the liquor store, maybe some of the South Wellfleet places. Yeah, it's not as, it used to be that you could leave things at the library and everyone would see it. But, yeah.
Or at the
you could ask one.
beach sticker.
That's it. That's a great
Oh,
idea.
right,
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great idea.
That's the most.
but I don't know, is that just mail again this year?
I don't know.
I really don't know. I really don't know. It's a good question. But that's an ideal spot for distributing information.
Yeah. That
I'll
would be
find
nice.
out
to
if it's
find out.
open. What they're gonna do.
And Winslow's is going to open. We could ask Tracy to get some too.
To get
Your
to be delivered
grandson
with their
working
checks.
there, yeah?
Yeah, give them. Yeah, exactly. Or put them in the louvers or something like that. I mean, she should put her money where her mouth is, shouldn't she?
She does.
I know she does. I know she does.
All right, moving on to the season calendar. I thought it might be good for us to keep an eye on the months. Like sometimes we're playing catch up. We missed an opportunity to get refill stations in the Discovery map. Maybe next year we want to think about getting refill stations posted on that Discovery map. It's that fold out map that you see it. Every town has one, and might be good to get an ad in there. So finding the dates and keeping track of the dates kind of maybe in a spreadsheet, that'll remind us to work ahead of time a little
Right.
bit. Also with the grants, I think that the DEP grants typically happen, the SMRP grants happen in the spring. So we could start saying, let's start looking into that. And
Right.
household hazardous waste, same thing, it's basically summer and early fall. So I think developing that could be helpful.
That sounds like a great idea, because
Okay.
things sneak up on a budget planning too. We can
Yeah.
put it in there.
Absolutely. Okay, so that's that. We have Tom, thank you for being with us still under the aquaculture and plastic reduction. I think we covered that. Oh, where'd he go?
Yeah, we covered that.
Yeah, so are you gonna, do you want to stay? I mean, I guess you wanted to stay for the meeting because you're still here, so.
Yeah, I got a few more minutes.
Okay, great. Anything else you want to share about aquaculture? No. Okay.
The only thing I could say is that it looks like it's picking up. With a lot of restaurants open up around the adjoining states. I'm getting good vibes from a lot of the grant holders that they're getting contacted
Great.
for their oysters this year. So that's positive.
Wonderful. All right.
Could I ask Tom a question?
Sure.
When just at the beginning of the meeting, you were talking about the problems that the fishermen have about rentals, and I mean, it seems odd to me that they don't already live here. Are you talking about people who usually just come and rent for the season somehow?
No, I'm really, it's hard to say. I'm really almost talking about the next generation.
I see. Okay.
Okay, the kids, the young adults, they're now renting, or individuals that came to Wellfleet maybe 5-10 years ago that couldn't find a place to live but rented. They're the ones really we're talking about that have a pretty successful business and now are kind of being pushed out because the landlord is looking to rent their place during the summer.
I see.
That's the issue we're in. And I spent time with Gary, Elaine, and Harry and their teams trying to figure out what a good alternative is.
Well, I guess to change the bylaw would be good, just because of COVID, right? That it's a problem caused by the real estate prices going up because of COVID, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's a part of it, yes. But I think it's a lot of people think, and I'm one of them, that I think it's going to continue. I think Wellfleet's a great area to come retire, and a lot of homes are valued pretty significantly now. And if to get into those homes, it's very difficult on a shellfisherman's salary.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think we all experienced that in our neighborhoods, even.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and as I said before, everybody's got their hand in it, from Helen to Gary and Elaine, and have been doing it for a long time. 95 project, I'm not sure it's going to help out. I think it's 4 or 5 years down the road that might happen. So they're looking for alternatives now to help individuals that are renting here in Wellfleet.
Right.
I was looking at, I don't know if it's really on.
I think it's called a CDU or CDU. I think it's on I think it's one of the warrants coming up at the town meeting.
Yeah.
Where you can take your
affordable dwelling units. Yeah.
Yeah, you could take. Yeah, thanks, Christine. You could take your garage or your shed and expand it, and use it as a use it as a full year rental.
Right.
So that's gotten some good conversations going on, and of course the shellfishermen, they all support that because that's an opportunity for them.
I noticed in Provincetown, right off of Route 6, there's an area where they have RVs, mobile homes, and including Airstreams, all kinds of places there. I know that they obviously rent the space for the mobile homes to be there, but in a pinch, maybe Wellfleet should consider getting a bunch of Airstreams in a beautiful location.
Yeah.
Well, Maurice's owners are looking for retirement, and that would be a great opportunity to have either tiny homes or RVs or something for people looking for housing.
Is Maurice in Wellfleet or in Eastham? It's on the edge, isn't it?
Right on the edge. I think it's a Wellfleet.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I mean, that's unofficial. I just know some of the family members, and the brothers are retirement age. So.
And the kids don't want to take it over? Is that what you're saying?
Apparently not.
Well, thanks, Tom.
Any thoughts or ideas you guys have would be, we'd love to hear them. So.
All right.
But thanks for having me.
Sure. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to maybe go to Carol because I know Carol's been waiting patiently, and we'll start to take things a bit out of order, Nancy. But Carol, do you want to give a report from your group, the Energy and Climate Action Committee liaison? Hope it's on mute.
There.
You got it.
Sorry. We have been working to reapply for an MVP grant, which is municipal vulnerability preparedness, which would identify low-lying roads in town and get an engineering study of 2 of them, and would involve the public. It's a really good grant involving 6 communities, including Wellfleet, who's the lead. We didn't get the grant last year, but we're hoping to be successful this year. We had a discussion about heat pumps, which I think it was the meeting before last, and we're hoping to turn that into maybe a public education forum of some sort. I have heat pumps that I've only been using for heat this year, really, and I was kind of disappointed to learn at this discussion that heat pumps only really work for, say, temperatures above freezing. Once it gets below
Yeah,
freezing,
that's not true, but I can comment on that after. There's a new generation of ones that do work. They're not as efficient. The efficiency goes down markedly under 30 degrees, but we converted to, after I talked to Dick Elkin, we converted to all heat pumps.
So you don't have a backup oil system?
No, we took our oil out.
Wow, you're brave.
We have a wood stove, so. But
that's
anyway,
great.
but they work fine when it gets really, really cold, but we use the wood stove because the efficiency has gone down so much, uses more electricity to keep them running. But anyway.
Okay, good.
Sorry to interrupt.
Well, we need to learn more about these technologies, and as you say, they're always developing. I learned that at the last meeting that Truro is joining the Global Covenant of Mayors, which is the organization that we report to about our greenhouse gas emissions. So that's really good news. And a few of us have been trying to do a sort of formal planning effort for the Energy Committee, using the information that we submitted for the local comprehensive plan. So that's my report. Any questions?
Any news on the solar panels at the transfer station going live?
Well, apparently, the vendor has to install a set of poles, POLES. I'm not quite sure why, but until they do that, the thing can't be turned on. Once they do that, it's fast, but we don't really know how to move that along. So
it's kind of suspenseful, you know, it's going to be a great day then when it's all on.
We'll have to have a celebration.
Absolutely.
Custom party.
I thought we were just looking for a piece of paper somewhere that somebody had lost.
No,
About who owns it.
that has been taken care of by converting to a lease instead of ownership. But now Eversource still has to install these poles. So
I see.
All right. Thank you, Carol. And back to plastic reduction, NIPS, the Universal Redemption Bottle Bill. I found some NIPS bylaws on NIPS ban bylaws online, some Cape Cod ones, and they started with the smallest nip size, and then they expanded to 100 milliliters. So I think it was 80 and then 100 milliliters. And there was no distinction between a plastic bottle, nip bottle, and a glass nip bottle. So I just wanted to kind of report on that. I can share those bylaws with you so you can read them and see what you think. They're really, boy, I think the Chelsea one was maybe 3 sentences. It was incredibly brief. Or
Did you
maybe-
look at the two on the Cape? Is it Mashpee and Falmouth?
Yeah, I have them. Let's see if I can just get that on my.
So is that something, Lydia, that, you know, we could decide as a committee that we might want to do that for next year town meeting?
For 2022.
2.
Yeah, I would say if you want to, there's Falmouth, Chelsea, those are the ones I have.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
I'm just wondering if other people think that's something that we should try to get past an overall ban rather than, I'm really surprised it passed in Falmouth and Mashpee. Those are pretty big towns, but it's a great precedent.
Hmm.
Anyway, something to think about. But if you could send those along or forward the links to them, Lydia, that'd be great.
Okay. And there's also the Universal Redemption Bottle Bill, Maine, as Nancy described it, and also Michigan has this universal redemption. That means that any container that has a deposit on it can be redeemed at any retail location that that sells well, drinks and, you know, beverages in cans or bottles. And it's not like the way it is now. If you return a Cape Cod beer bottle, they'll only accept it at outlets that sell Cape Cod beer.
Right.
So the way they're doing it in Maine and Michigan is any location can accept it, and I think it's a good thing. I think that's something to look into.
That's at a
And
state.
how do the retailers get reimbursed then?
Well, they get reimbursed right now. They get a couple pennies on each 5-cent deposit,
I see.
and the state pays them. So it would work the same way. And maybe the thing to do is to increase it to 10 cents rather than right now it's 5 cents. But I wouldn't, I mean, there was a big effort to increase the to a 10 cents a few years back. It failed really badly. But it could be brought up again. I think if it is, the universal redemption idea is really worth exploring.
Do you know if there's anything, wasn't there a House bill or something at the state level that's sort of been put forward by somebody every year and never gets anywhere?
Is that for NIPS or for bill?
I thought it was about universal, but maybe not. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth looking into.
Yeah, but that's at a state level. I mean, we can't do anything. Yeah.
Well, we can advocate for it if we
Right.
think it's good as a resolution or something.
Right.
I think it might make it easier for some of the retailers, because they don't have to sort through things right now. They have to sort it once they get it.
Sorted by
That's hilarious.
distributor. I know, what a mess.
So there's that. Packaging, PPE litter grabbers. Jane and I went on the Shellfish Advisory Board, Herring River Group Recycling Committee beach cleanup a couple of weeks ago. And she had the grabbers with her. It really made a huge difference. So I guess if you ever see any of those around at a thrift store, buy them up and hold on to them. So bring them to the next beach cleanup, because especially trying to get into areas with, you know, brambles and whatever to get at the trash, it's really helped a lot.
They're really old ladies grabbers.
Well, I think they
I have one now. I haven't
I mean,
used it
they're
yet.
wonderful. They're wonderful things, but there's definitely a geriatric feel to them. I don't think you're likely to find them in the hardware store, but why not? I mean, they are very efficient.
They're very practical. I mean, I think even maybe longer ones would be good for.
Well, I have two sizes, two different sizes, or you could have them extended, I guess.
Yeah.
But I even have one at my bedside table so that as I'm getting out of bed in the morning, I use my grabbers to get my slippers.
Very clever.
Just because I have such dreadful feet, I cannot really walk anywhere barefoot.
Mm.
You know, my balance goes all wobbly. So it seems ridiculous, but now I have one of those grabbers almost in every room.
So there you are. It's
A
a
good,
very
good adaptation.
Yeah, yeah.
it works. Number 8 is compost spring summer outreach. So 25% of municipal solid waste is compostable. Consider the town of Hamilton mandatory compost program. It's a policy, not a bylaw. And I urge you to go to their website. I can put the, let's have a look here. They have some really good information on the website.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that they explained that their trash all gets burned in North Andover. And when there's wet stuff, it makes it harder to burn.
Right, yeah, that's a very practical, common
The
sense.
organics get burned?
Like just whatever is put in their trash, I guess.
Oh, in their trash, okay.
You know, they're just the trash, so not the compost, but by removing the
Right.
compost.
Oh,
But
that's why they wanted to get it out of the trash.
Yeah.
Right, but
Yeah.
they listed lots of stuff that we wouldn't backyard compost,
I see.
that they can put in these sort of commercial compost places,
I see.
which is interesting.
And they do have a program where the compost is returned to the customers periodically. Like you can buy a bag or you get a free bag of compost, finished compost, premium compost. And that would be, you know, really great if we could do that too here in Wellfleet. Although talking to the to Mike Sakali at the transfer station, there's no sense that Watts Family Farm is producing a finished like premium compost that can be on the retail level. But maybe that's something to encourage them to do. I don't know if that's something Carrie can talk to them about, just to make it so that there's more of a circle, you know, the people will, I think they appreciate it. People love to garden, both indoors and outdoors. So it would be a nice thing.
Yeah.
I think what Chatham was doing was, so Watts would come and pick up the food waste from the town of Chatham, and then they would bring in finished compost that the transfer station would sell to residents, in addition to going and grabbing the free pile from the leaf and yard waste as well. So they kind of full circled it that way. And I think the price point was fairly low. I mean, I don't recall, but I remember thinking like, that's a really great deal for organic compost.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any idea, Carrie, how to get in touch with Watts? We've tried over the years. It's really hard to get in touch with them.
You know, it's funny. I mean, on their website, they have a phone number, and I've emailed AJ and Andrew before, and sometimes they get right back to me, and sometimes I never hear from them. So they are fairly difficult. I would say they're not responsive. I mean, I know that AJ and Andrew both work at the Sandwich transfer station, so you can just pop in and be like, hey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that might be the thing. Or there's also, since Dennis manages the program, like all of our residential compost drop-off is taken to Dennis, and from there Watts picks it up.
That's true.
Do you think that maybe asking Dennis, they're a little bit more connected?
Yeah, I mean, maybe Chad, get a hold of Chad Contanillo. He's the foreman there. So, you know, he's the one that's going to be sort of the direct contact when it comes to things like that. So, you know, maybe pop that in his ear that you're interested, and then add Amy Wolf out of Truro, because Truro takes their food waste there as well. So maybe between Wellfleet, Truro, and Dennis, there could be sort of that full circle where they're bringing back the finished product in bags for residents to purchase from them.
Right.
I wonder how Dave's Greens is doing in getting their licensing, because if Outer Cape towns could use him, that was the plan for them, for him to take Truro residential waste at the transfer station. Then we could have local compost.
That would be neat. I think that Hamilton mentioned mussel shells in their compost, which is interesting.
Oh, but it said no clams and no oyster shells. I saw that.
Oh.
I didn't notice the mussels.
Yeah. wonder why mussels are acceptable.
They're thinner shells, aren't they? They're much easier to crush up.
I also accepted all kinds of stuff that we wouldn't, like pizza boxes.
Right, dirty
Just
pizza boxes. Yeah.
yeah. All right, so in the interest of, we'll go forward with number 9. We did the energy part, so water bottle refill stations.
So
Christine?
I talked to the harbor master, and they've changed the location where they were going to put it. Originally, it was going to be on the side of the harbor master's office where the town ramp is. He said they had problems getting potable water there. So they have moved the location to outside of the shower building, right along the walkway that goes around the pier. So I need to, I took a bunch of pictures to find out which location it is, and then I need to get back in touch with the sponsor of it, Carrie Poole at Nauset, and let her know that, and then work with her on what kind of plaque they would like to have for thanking them for their sponsorship. Anyway,
Are you
so
saying there's a shower building on the pier?
apparently there is, but I don't know which building it is. So
Just beyond the harbor master office where the bathrooms are.
on the other side, I just
Oh,
don't
I
know.
see. I see.
They're restroom buildings. There's the women's and the men's side, but I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
where he meant. So
I don't remember seeing one in the ladies' room. That's all I'm saying. Must be the
There-
men's.
There used to be, I remember, but
No, oh.
anyway, I'll find out. So, so that's on the to-do. The second one for town hall is in a little bit of a problem because we don't currently have access to the funds because of the accounting problems in town.
The broadband problem.
The broadband problem? Oh, whatever the problem is, it's there. So Lydia and I have been talking about Lydia. Well, anyway, that's a separate issue. So right now we don't have the money to order the equipment itself. And I also haven't been able to get in touch with the water commissioner who had offered a couple of years ago to actually do the installation because the DPW wasn't going to cover the cost. And we do have funds to do that, but that would sort of deplete the rest of the gift fund. But in any case, so I'm still trying to get in touch with him. So that's where we stand on refill stations.
Okay. Chris, social media posts, website? Well, not website, but social media posts?
So just from this conversation, I will post about Free Well Fleet. I'll post about the start of the purple bags, which I think I did before, but I'll do a reminder. And then the hazardous waste day.
Great.
That's pretty good for 1 month. Yeah.
Okay, it's busy.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that.
Mhm. Right.
Community Cutlery Library of Things is just on pause for now. That's that. And then committee vacancies after June 30th will be down 1 member, Beth Bramer. And so we'll have that position is open, and then the 2 alternate positions are open as well. For
So
minutes,
we haven't actively tried beating the bushes to find a new member, but if anybody runs into somebody that is
Maybe
newish
that-
in
yeah.
town.
Another post for Chris within Instagram, just letting people know they have to be a Wellfleet resident.
Oh, yeah. You had posted before, I remember.
Yeah, I had. Yeah. Yeah, I can try to do that again.
Does anyone use the community space page and putting things there?
Well, the things I post go there as well.
I do. Oh, okay.
Well, some of them, I would say like 75% of them I put up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Mhm.
Great. Minutes. And Nancy, those minutes were excellent. Thank you.
oh, thank you.
Thank you.
And I think everyone's had a chance to read them. Jaya had a little note, and I had some edits earlier. So is there a motion to approve those minutes?
Yeah, the only thing I was going to mention, Nancy, and you may have already fixed it, is the numbering you know, to continue the numbering from the previous, so it's contiguous.
Okay.
Like it has 1, 2, and then it has 1, 2, 3, and then it goes back to 1.
Oh, sorry about that. Yes, I will fix that.
Yeah, that's an easy one, but
Yes, absolutely.
yeah, thank you. I
Any
make a
other-
motion to approve the April 6th meeting minutes.
Is there
I
a
wasn't
second?
at the meeting, so I can't really propose approving the minutes, can I? Because how would I know what was right?
Right
or not?
there?
I wouldn't either.
Oh, no, we can't do it. We have to wait. till
I'm
next
happy to approve the minutes, but I
Yeah.
wasn't there, so I can't really assess
Alright,
it.
So maybe the lesson here is to do the minutes at the beginning of the meeting when we have more members.
Right,
Jai was there, but.
yeah.
All
Do
right.
you
so
want to,
we'll-
do you want to
we'll-
second them, Lydia?
Yeah, I'll second it, but you know.
Oh,
well,
we don't have a quorum? Yeah, we do.
We do, but of
Yeah,
the
five
people
people.
that would have to vote on it, they have to be 4 from the meeting, right?
Oh,
Oh, I don't
I
know.
don't think
That's
so.
it? I don't think so.
Well,
No.
all right, well, then I vote to approve them.
Okay,
Me too.
You're seconding them, and we're all voting.
okay.
So 5 to 0.
Unanimous. And accounting report, there's no such luck, I'm afraid. We
So
are,
the problem, yeah, so the accounting problems are that, you know, we only have like $300 and we should have, you know, 3,000 more or so. Well, we still have it. We just have to get the wrinkles out.
Find it, yeah.
Lydia had a couple of suggestions which we followed through on, and I think that the next step is to go directly to the DPW because our budget is in their department, and talk to the person there that works on the budget, which is Jean, and see if we can straighten it out that that's ours, not theirs. Maybe. That's
Yeah.
just so we get our gift fund accounts.
another option is to ask the acting town administrator to credit us the amount that is needed at town meeting.
It's too late for them to do that, though.
I have a question about our current financial troubles, so maybe somebody can answer it. I mean, I've read all the accounts in the P-Town Independent. I happen to live next door to the person who is the Wellfleet treasurer. And I wonder what's the difference in responsibilities between the treasurer and the accountant, because it's the accountant there was the accountant and the town administrator were the ones who've been invited to leave, haven't they? So what is the difference between the treasurer's responsibility and the accountant's responsibility? Can anybody tell me?
Neighbor. Ask your neighbor.
Well, it's slightly awkward, isn't it? It's like I'm sort of saying, why are you still in your job if all these other people have gone? I don't
Well,
want
the
to do
treasurer
that.
doesn't have, I mean, the budget for the town, the operating budget,
Yeah.
is under that's the accountant that.
Yeah. Okay. So what does the treasurer do?
The treasurer probably deals with the pensions, things like that, the town employee pensions, maybe sometimes.
Like when you deposit funds into an account, that goes through the treasurer. So the actual banking, but the budgeting and the tracking of accounts and budgets and spending and reporting is the accounting department.
Okay.
There's also a town collector, which is, I think,
For
The
tax.
tax collector. Yeah.
okay.
All right. Thank you.
Any future agenda items or correspondence you want to bring up? Okay. Our next meeting is June 1st, so that's going to be coming right up. When it's at the very beginning of the month, it's always a little.
Yeah. The day after Memorial Day, then.
Oh my gosh. So there's also a holiday in there, so be careful when
Yeah.
you do the agenda post, make sure it's like.
Oh, gosh.
Well,
I'll
we
put
could
it on my
do
calendar
it.
now.
We could do it the second Tuesday, maybe.
uh,
It doesn't make any difference to me, but
Yeah, I think we should stick with it. And I just
Okay,
have to have it
okay.
on my calendar to send them the agenda plenty early.
yeah, there we go.
Sounds good. All right, is there a motion to adjourn? It's 12:24.
Yeah. you've got one for
Chris made
Chris.
the motion to adjourn. I
Okay,
second it.
Second, yeah.
everybody.
Jane seconded it.
Yeah, also,
All
yeah.
approved.
Good. Well, have a nice rest of the day. Kind of soggy out there, but
Okay.
thanks for being here today.
Thank you
Okay,
very
thank
much.
you.
Thank
Nice
you.
to see everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.